Okay, so we are live.
Thank you very much. So we had a very busy weekend. We got the 6 hostages out of Venezuela, as you probably know. And they're very safe right now. They're home with their families. And we appreciate the hard work of a lot of people, including Rick Grinnell. We appreciate the cooperation from Venezuela. And we have some very happy people right now. Nobody thought that was going to happen. So they are home, they're safe, and they're with their families. That was a big one. Secretary of State Rubio is in Panama right now, and we're talking.
It's something that I can't seem to understand. When does he sleep? He seems to be always on the way. He's everywhere. He's giving conferences, interviews, left and right. It's just crazy. When does he actually sleep?
What they've done is terrible. They violated the agreement. They're not allowed to violate the agreement. China's running the Panama Canal. That was not given to China. That was given to Panama foolishly. But they violated the agreement, and we're going to take it back, or something very powerful is going to happen. And as far as other things are concerned, as you know, we had a very busy weekend. We're dealing with Israel. We're dealing with Ukraine and Russia. We have.
Yeah, I think President of Israel, Netanyahu, is in Washington now. I think he's going to meet President Trump on Tuesday, I think.
Talks scheduled with various parties, including Ukraine and Russia. And I think those discussions are actually going pretty well. The discussions on the Middle East with Israel and various and sundry other countries are progressing. Bibi Netanyahu is coming on Tuesday, and I think we have some very big meetings scheduled.
President, do you feel that Elon Musk is delivering on his promises to you? Do you feel he's doing a good job right now with
I do. I think Elon's doing a good job. He's a big cost cutter. Sometimes we won't agree with it and will not go where he wants to go, but I think he's doing a great job. He's a smart guy, very smart, and he's very much into cutting the budget of our federal government.
Yeah, that's important.
He's also retaliatory tariffs from Canada.
Say it?
He's also retaliatory tariffs from Canada.
Yeah, that's the hot topic right now. Everyone is asking what's going to happen with Canada, and I think that too will take effect on Tuesday. Canada, Mexico, and China tariffs will take effect starting from Tuesday. We'll see.
In the order, are you planning to increase the tariffs against Canada?
Well, it could happen. If they do anything, we will. Canada's been very abusive of the United States for many years. They don't allow our banks. Did you know that? Canada does not allow banks to go in. If you think about it, that's pretty amazing. If we have a U.S. bank, they don't allow them to go in. Canada's been very tough on oil, on energy. They don't allow our farm products in, essentially.
True.
They don't allow a lot of things
Europe
in, and
too.
we allow everything to come in. It's been a one-way street. We subsidize Canada by the tune of about $200 billion a year. And for what? What do we get out of it? We don't get anything out of it. I love the people of Canada. I disagree with the leadership of Canada. And something's going to happen there. But if they want to play the game, I don't mind. We can play the game all they want. Mexico, we've had very good talks with them. And this is retaliatory. This is retaliatory to a certain extent. Millions of people flowed into our country through Mexico and Canada. And we're not going to allow that. And by the way, we have among the lowest numbers we've ever.
And I think Canada, this Trudeau guy, he went out yesterday, I think, or today in the morning. Yeah, yesterday. And he was like, we're going to impose retaliatory tariffs on the US, but it's going to be bad for both parties, but I think it's going to affect Canada more because Canada is more dependent on the US. US doesn't depend on Canada as much, and I think it's just going to be bad for them, for Canada. So we'll see about that.
Of people crossing our border, the lowest numbers since my administration.
Mr. President, you said, so on Truth Social, you said that you were going to cut aid from South Africa. Will you plan to cut aid across other African nations, and why South Africa?
No, it's only South Africa. Terrible things are happening in South Africa. The leadership is doing some terrible things, horrible things. So that's under investigation right now. We'll make a determination. And until such time as we find out what South Africa is doing, they're taking away land, they're confiscating land, and actually they're doing things that are perhaps far worse than that.
And on the Fed chair.
I actually don't know what is South Africa doing. I don't understand. Can anyone tell us in the comments, in the chat, what is South Africa actually doing?
Powell, he held rates. What's your reaction to him not changing the rates?
What did you say?
Fed Chair Jerome Powell, the Fed meeting was this week. He held the rates. He didn't cut them.
No, I'm not surprised. I think holding the rates at this point was the right thing to do.
Mr. President, which country will be next on tariffs? Would you consider taxing the UK, for example?
Well, we're going to see what happens. It'll happen. But we're gonna...
it will happen. Yeah, that's something very important. The EU. The US is in a 300 billion trade deficit with the EU. I don't know, is he going to really tariff them or not? We don't know. We will see. UK is not a part of the EU anymore, but the same with the UK. The US is in a trade deficit with them, so...
We'll see how things work out. It might happen with them, but it will definitely happen with the European Union. I can tell you that. Because they've really taken advantage of us. And, you know, we have over a $300 billion deficit. They don't take our cars. They don't take our farm products. They take almost nothing. And we take everything from them. Millions of cars, tremendous amounts of food and farm products. So the UK is way out of line, and we'll see the UK, but European Union is really out of line. UK is out of line, but I'm sure that one, I think that one can be worked out. But the European Union it's an atrocity, what they've done. Well, Prime Minister Starmer has been very nice. We've had a couple of meetings. We've had numerous phone calls. We're getting along very well. And we'll see whether or not we can balance out our budget. With the European Union, it's $350 billion deficit. So obviously something's going to take place there.
For the European Union, what's the timeline? And are you thinking along
Where?
the line 25%, 10%?
With who? With who?
The EU, how much?
I wouldn't say there's a timeline, but it's going to be pretty soon.
Oh. Oh my God, it's going to be interesting.
No, I'm not concerned. We may have short-term some little pain, and people understand that, but long-term...
Yeah, exactly. It's going to affect the U.S. too. These tariffs, the people of the U.S. are going to pay for them, not the country that the U.S. imposed the tariffs on. So it's going to hurt the people, but I don't know to which extent. We will see. We'll see. We'll see about that. But to tariff the EU too, that's going to be crazy. We're going to see a lot of drama. It's going to be interesting.
It's been ripped off by virtually every country in the world. We have deficits with almost every country. Not every country, but almost. And we're going to change it. It's been unfair. That's why we owe $36 trillion. We have deficits with everybody. We help everybody. We've been helping everybody for years. And to be honest, I don't think they appreciate it. So we're going to change that. We're going to change it fast. We're going to make America great again. We have to focus on our country. We have tremendous potential if properly used, and we have to focus on our country. Tremendous deficits with China, tremendous deficits with the European Union, tremendous deficits with Mexico and Canada. And why? What's the purpose of that? Why would we have deficits? And you look at...
Yeah, it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. It's not normal. Countries should have equal trade values. So it's interesting why for all these years the US accepted that. It's just mind-boggling. Is it going to be fixed? I don't know, because it's going to be hard. It's going to cause inflation, these tariffs, I think. We'll see what will happen.
If you look at pharmaceuticals and drugs, if you look at various products, it's much cheaper in other countries. We're not going to allow that much longer. We're not going to take it. Well, it's been run by a bunch of radical lunatics, and we're getting them out. USAID, run by radical lunatics, and we're getting them out, and then we'll make a decision.
Mr. President, have you spoken with anyone from Canada or from Mexico since you appointed?
I've spoken with people from Canada, I've spoken with people from Mexico, and I've spoken to a lot of other people too.
Prime Minister Trudeau or someone?
I'm speaking with Prime Minister Trudeau tomorrow morning, and I'm also speaking with Mexico tomorrow morning. And I don't expect anything very dramatic. We put tariffs on. They owe us a lot of money, and I'm sure they're going to pay.
Would you send troops to take the Canal Panama?
About what?
Panama, the Canal Panama. Would you send US troops?
I don't think troops will be necessary in Panama. What Panama has done is terrible financial security for this part of the world. And, 70% of the signage on the Panama Canal was written in Chinese. That's not right. So it wasn't meant for China. It should have never been made. The deal was a ridiculous deal. We lost 38,000 people building the Panama Canal, one of the great wonders of the world. 38, it was the most expensive project ever built by this country, if you take it forward. The most expensive project ever built. We lost 38,000. And what happens? China owns it all of a sudden? It's not going to happen. We're not going to let that happen. We have national security.
That's actually good. I don't know why people are upset about this. The US built it. They gave it to Panama. Panama just rented it out for China. That's not good. You shouldn't do that. It's just so bad. I don't know why people are upset about that.
And they wouldn't let it happen either.
Mr. President, what does Canada and Mexico need to do for you to lift the tariffs? What are specifically you want?
They'd have to balance out their trade, number one. They've got to stop people from pouring into our country, and we've stopped it. They haven't stopped it. We've stopped it. They have to stop people from pouring in, and we have to stop fentanyl, and that includes China. Fentanyl has killed this year at least 200,000 people.
Yeah,
it's
it's
pouring
crazy.
in from China through Mexico and Canada, and they've got to stop it. And if they don't stop it, the tariffs are going to get worse, a lot worse.
Mr. President,
We'll see. It's going to be interesting. Tariffs are going to cause inflation, but I think on the long run, they are going to have a good effect. So we'll see about that.